Hello, everyone. Welcome to White Noise. I'm Robyn.
Hi, Robyn. I'm Summer.
And yeah, we are here together today for the first time, what feels like in a lifetime almost.
Eons.
Yeah, we have a featured performer today. Would you like to introduce them, Summer?
Sure. Tonight we have a treat for you. Hashishan will be joining us. He is a New York-based Palestinian American artist, and he's going to come and play us some music tonight. So I'm very excited about that personally.
As am I.
And it's gonna be a good night. The weather's nice. It's not too cold. It's not too hot. Just a little bit rainy, which I like. It's a good vibe. And I'm excited about it. I have a brief quote from this book that I've been reading that feels apropos. And I want to read it to you before we start this evening. Mm-hmm. So this is Lincoln in the Bardo by George Saunders, and I highly recommend it. I've been losing my mind. But there's a passage where he writes, "Friend, we are here, already here, within. A train approaches a wall at a fatal rate of speed. You hold a switch in your hand that accomplishes you know not what. You throw it. Disaster, do you throw it?"
Whoa, blackout.
I can't see it more. No, that's okay, because I messed up anyway.
Changed spots. That would have been really fun.
Change clothes really quick. A train approaches a wall at a fatal rate of speed. You hold a switch in your hand that accomplishes you know not what. Do you throw it? Disaster is otherwise assured. It costs you nothing, so why not try? So that's what I want to do here with you guys tonight, is try. Let's throw the switch and see what happens. Yeah. Thank you.
And as usual, after our feature, we have the open mic readers who are going to come up, and we're going to keep them to like 8 minutes each, if you guys can manage that, just because of time reasons. And yeah, that's really it. So welcome to the stage, our performer.
Thank you.
This is cool. I like this.
It is, right?
I often forget lyrics, so I'm just gonna do this over here. Hi, my name is Hashishan. I'm New York based, born and raised in Poughkeepsie. My parents are Palestinian. I am 100% Palestinian. And I've been doing music since I was like 7 in every aspect. I've been singing. Tonight I'm gonna sing. I also produce the tracks that I'll be singing over. They're both covers. And without further ado, first one's Laugh About It by Nerd. Might have to. We'll laugh about it. You made me take a look at me, at all the flaws and what I'd be, and all the things you could not see were hitting in me. I didn't want to see what was troubling me, but the sledgehammer coming down with the boom. I mean, I fell in love. Something inside of you, I mean, I love your heart. But has your mind ever had to choose? Smiling at you, smoking, but you are not amused. Someday I'll laugh about it, and all that pressure snatched me out it. We couldn't last like that, I doubt it. So come on, girl, let's laugh about it. And the way you see the world is sweet. You're in the clouds, the air is pink. Please be my friend, oh would you please? But you still on the move, smoke coming from your shoes. But the sledgehammer Coming down with the boom, I mean I fell in love. Something inside of you, I mean I love your heart. But it's your mind if I had to choose. Smiling at you smoking, but you are not amused. Someday I'll laugh about it, and all that pressure snatched me out it. I couldn't last like that, I doubt it. So come on girl, let's laugh about it. Well, let's just have a blast about it. Would've never found our paths without it. And all that pressure snatched us out it. So come on girl, let's laugh about it. Oh, someday we'll laugh about it. And oh, someday we'll laugh about it. Laugh about it. Oh, someday we'll laugh about it. Someday I'll laugh about it. And all that pressure snatched me out it. Couldn't last like that, I doubt it. So come on girl, let's laugh about it. Let's just have a blast about it. Thank you, guys. I've been writing a lot more, but I don't really have anything worth doing tonight. So this next one's also gonna be a cover. It's by Sizzla, who is a Caribbean artist. So I did my own little rendition on this one. I'm pretty excited about it. Thank you. Hey. Where did you go? Don't you need my love? Why don't you come on and let us play? When are you going to come my way? What sort of things are they telling you? I gotta stop them from compelling you. So give me a try, 'cause I belong with you, right? Please don't deny your life. Our love can't create. I'm gonna take you there, love for a lifetime. I'm gonna make your life so clear. I'm gonna take you there, love for a lifetime. Gonna make your life so clear. Say no lies, say goodbye, say no cry. Stars in your eyes. I'm not stupid, not a fool. Know what I'm doing, play it cool. Keep it burning like a star. I'm gonna take you there, love for a long time. I'm gonna make your life so clear. I'm gonna take you there, love for a lifetime. Gonna make your life so clear. Did you go? Don't you need my love? When are you gonna come and let us play? Going to come my way. sort of things are they telling you? I gotta stop them from compelling you. Cannot stop me from getting to you. That's it. Thank you.
Please help me welcome our next performer, Maura.
Hello, everybody. How is everyone tonight? Good? Okay, cool. That's good. Glad to hear it. The weather is kind of nice. I like when it's slightly rainy, but not when it's pouring. So I wrote this poem today while I was at work, and I started writing 2 other poems off of things I had already written, and then I just was like, this isn't working. So I completely scratched it and did something completely different than what I had planned to do. And I named it this time. It's called Things About Me. And so I thought maybe I could let everyone here get to know me a little bit better. Okay, things about me. Pretty, petty, I'm in love with spaghetti. Funny, witty, prefer the country over the city. Happy, sad, manic, mad. Sometimes can't tell if what I just said was good or bad. Observant, persistent, loves to complete missions. Friendly, somewhat erratic. Receiving hugs makes me feel ecstatic. Hopeful, optimistic, holds myself to standards that aren't always realistic. Caring, obsessive, fighting off thoughts that are depressive. Tender and loving, purposefully unserious. Until the one day that the emptiness wins and I can't make sense of life and what it is. Kind, considerate, good-hearted, either can't stop talking or can't get me started. Motivated, determined to get to work on time and make my friends smile. May answer back right away or not for a long while. Interesting, free-spirited, absolutely unhinged and crazy on days I'm not having it. One, a few, and all of these things are me, but one thing I am not is unworthy. And that was just supposed to be like a self-love thing. Thank you. That is it. I don't have a lot to say.
Thank you so much, Maura, and thank you, Hashishin, for performing. Incredible. I want to hear so much more. Yeah. Next up is a regular to the stage, now, thankfully, Lovejoy.
Hey, whoa, whoa, yeah. Wow. Oh, whoa, wow. Surprise. Woo. Wow. I mean, wow. Yes. Right. So, yes. Wow. Hey, yay. Whoa, yeah. Okay. So now is now, and here we go. So, wow. My water bottle. Okay. Grievance, philosophy, anxiety, aardvarks, fertilizer, sensuality, or should I say sensuality. Religion. Don't get me started. You know, sometimes it's just so weird. And other times, it's just so boring. I used to try to make sense of it all. But now I don't. Oh, whoa, yay! Yeah, freedom! Well, you know, no. If it itches, and then, and then, and then, and then. It's only drama if you say it is. Why, just the other day, I was just thinking, like, And a part of me was like witnessing the whole thing. Here I was, and there it was, and that was that, and this was this, and it was one of those moments, you know what I mean? One of those moments. You know what I mean. Of course you do. We've all had those moments. In fact, we might be having one right now. It's not for me to say. But then again, it is. You know what? I'm feeling a little anxious, but I'm also peaceful at the same time. What about that? I used to try to figure that one out too. Now I don't. We're on a roll now. First you're up, then you're down. Side to side, in, out, round and around, down. Down for the count. And then what? That's the big question. And then what, right? We all think we know what we're doing. And that's a good thing. Unless it's not. So how do you tell what's good? Is it an opinion? Is it a truth? Is it a value? Is it a message? Is it an aardvark? Joking! Can't be an aardvark. Well, then again, it could. And that's my message tonight. Anything is really possible if you say it is. That's not my message. That used to be my message. But now is the moment I've been waiting for. Please, Lord, let me be in the moment as much as physically possible. So far so good. Not thinking about what had just happened, and I'm not thinking about where I'm going. I'm right here. Now you're probably wondering at this point in the show, well, no, that's a big assumption, isn't it? I would say, what would I say? I would like to, I'd like to freak out. I mean, that's just, there's a part of me that really needs to do that. I used to do that. I'll do it again. I'm not necessarily going to freak out right now, but I could. I might. What would that look like, right? Just here, slow motion version. Just, do it really fast, and you get the spittle flies, and your eyes are rolling around, right? And then you slip on the rug and all that. Now that's freaking out, let me tell you. It's dangerous. It's dangerous to freak out. Well, I used to freak out all the time. I used to live a life of danger. And now, you know what? Now is like the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. It's like, as soon as I committed to the moment, everything got bizarre. So, I guess there's no turning back. Once you do it, you've done it. So, so to summarize, up, down, side to side, in, out, round and around and around, and bing! Oh. Okay. Hey, that's it. Thanks a lot.
Help me welcome our next performer, Haley.
My name's Haley. This is my first time ever doing anything like this. I am so scared. But I have some poetry to read today. Thank you. This is so new to me. I have never read any of my poetry to any group of people, or even out loud for that matter. So it's definitely a new experience. But I have 2 poems tonight. I hope that's okay. It's going to be okay. I'm gonna say it's okay. But they are pretty. I consider them pretty personal, and they're definitely things the poems have to do with things that I definitely struggle with, things like obsession and like looking for validation from people who don't give me that validation. Before I think too hard about it, I'm gonna proceed. This this first poem I titled "Path of Danger." I think I've grown too comfortable with someone. I think that's what happened. I told myself not to take that emotional journey, but here I am strapped in. I'm driving down that confusing, winding road. It's a road that never seems to end. I'm trying to tread carefully over each bump. I'm cautiously skirting every bend. It's so hard to resist traveling a path of danger when the scenery is so captivating. The trees, the sun, the flowers exhilarate my being. I've realized I've stopped concentrating. Sorry. I almost veered off the road in a spot where the terrain drops. That was a close one. I corrected and swerved onto the other side and almost hit a tree. I for sure would have been done. No one knows that I'm out this far and where I'm heading. I should turn around right now. I really don't want to stop in hopes I'll find what I'm looking for. I've got to get there somehow. I have to keep going in order to reach the person I'm falling for. I can see him just around the bend. With his words echoing in my head, "You're beautiful, Haley. I must reach the end." So, thank you. Oh boy. That one I wrote a little while ago. It's one of my newer poems. I'm honestly grateful I've been able to write the few poems that I have written in the last year, because I've been having a hard time finding inspiration lately, but I definitely cherish it when it does come. This next one I wrote more recently, a little under a month ago. It's called Crumbs. Oh, I found a crumb. I wonder what's its flavor. I'll never know when it'll come in handy. Perhaps I'll save it for later. Maybe if I find enough crumbs, I could put them together. Crumbs are so small, though. I could be looking forever. Look here, under the floorboards. I see it just through this crack. My motivation to find crumbs is something I never lack. Maybe I could squeeze my hand through. Just thinking about it brings me hope. Ouch, I cut my hand and it hurts. Did I get it? Nope. There's got to be some way. I just have to try harder. I will bandage up my hand and reach a little farther. Even if I get more cuts, more bruises and more gashes, the crumb is what matters. The wounds will heal as time passes. Oh no, that's as far as my arm will go. I'm just an inch away. I will rip up these wooden floorboards, even if it takes all day. Giving up is not an option. I refuse to believe it's true. I'll never stop believing it's a piece of cake from you. Thank you. Oh my God. Is it hot in here or is it just me? Thank you so much.
And next up, we have Andrew Austin.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Robyn. My name is Andrew Austin. Unfortunately, I don't get out very often to the open mics at Greenkill anymore because, you know, my schedule and everything, you know how it is. But I used to come out all the time when Greenkill was hosting voiceless readings. I don't know how many people remember voiceless readings. Noah David Roberts, great poet, he hosted those, and I think I came out for those almost every single Thursday. It was a great reading. It had so many great poets. Noah was terrific. There was Gary Siegel, the late Ron Whiters. And as a matter of fact, your host, Robyn, she was a regular at Voiceless. Voiceless was a great reading, wasn't it? It was awesome. And one of the wonderful, wonderful poets there, and I said so much respect for him, was Andy Clausen. A couple of days ago, Andy Clausen passed away. He was a brilliant poet. He traveled the world over 40 years just reading in Eastern Europe and Siberia and Alaska and California, of course. And I had so much respect for him. And I also had tremendous respect for his life partner, Pam Twining. She was another voiceless reading regular and a great, great poet and performer in her own right. She passed away just a few months before Andy. And I decided to come out tonight to make a little time to read from 40th Century Man. This was the very last thing he was able to publish. It's a compilation of poetry he wrote from all over the world over 30 years, from 1966 to 1996. And I just want to read a couple of things to honor a wonderful, wonderful guy, and I just feel privileged to have been able to share an open mic for so long with Andy and Pam. So anyway, let me just find a couple. This first one is called Impressions of Titograd. Titograd is the capital of Montenegro that used to be behind the Iron Curtain. It's in Eastern Europe. Impressions of Titograd. Then we're routed through Titograd. Now this one's grim and ugly. Absolute, utilitarian, decayed, stagnant, bleak, depressing, suppressing, poisoning, strength and initiative with a glance and a wince. This train station dirty, low down, surly. This hamburger ancient, juiceless carcass grindings. Stale plain bun. This composting sauerkraut and fermented beet salad is disgusting. These early morning trashed cantankerous legions of chain-smoking men are rough and smelly. Women are not respected here. They're supposed to be working or making babies. 1. The restrooms stink. The Eastern-style squat toilets are dying. The pollution is in the people's skin, sweating industrial effluvia. The litter shameful. It's obvious it'd be like looking for a family untouched by death in a place like Benares, to find someone here who had the hope to give a shit. It's a big, drunken, lifeless party, lasted 40 years without a sobering. Here there's no morning after, there's just the grave and this. A lad about 12 years old with a couple buddies on train platform. Am I from England? No, USA. You speak good English. I have been to Brooklyn. Our train to Belgrade is approaching. Which do you like better, I ask, Brooklyn or Titagrad? America, he answers, 100 times. And though I can name 1,000 things I hate about life in the USA, that's my problem, I agree with him. This surely can't be what Marx and Engels envisioned. This nasty, grimy, desolate, dreamless, uniform poverty and despair, this sacrilege and suffering, this drunken nightmare. Budapest Museum of Fine Arts, Goya's battle scenes are dark like tornado weather. People actually get killed in his paintings, ordinary people, not soldiers, not religious martyrs. They happen me, my neighbors, my family. And the weather sucks. And that's Titagrad and Budapest in 1990. So that was the first one. From that, we can assume he didn't like Titagrad. The next one, I'm not going to read this whole one because it's very, very long, but this one is The Streets of Kashi. Kashi is a city in India. He traveled doing poetry in India. Anyway, The Streets of Kashi. High walking historical alleys, Gadalia. Gadalia is a marketplace in Kashi. And out to frazzling, congested streets in tea and kirkadam shops, over ghats, rickshaws, tuk-tuks, buffalo, and throngs come here to die or to be reborn on the streets of Varanasi, Old Benares, the eternal city, Kashi. Leftover garbage-eating cows in the 2 cow-wide alleys, big Brahma bulls like they ride in the rodeos. Pigs and goats, it would seem, run free. Brick and cement carrying mini donkeys hustle through the alley of pilgrims. A dry, cement-covered young boy switches them onward. Men and women pass water against walls, in gutter on top of dung piles. Ever colorful poor Rajasthani pilgrims, far from their everything brown desert home, amazed like hicks in New York City. Barangi women scrape all fresh manure into washtub-sized pudding-like piles. Their hands form it into patties pasted on buildings and slopes facing the sun. And ho, wambi, wambi, baba, ho. There's wild, crazy, offbeat, funky, honking, happy, goof parade music coming through the alley towards the ever-popular Ganges. And behind them, a corpse with a golden sheet and fresh garlands being ported by the torch, and here's a white-sheeted one. 7 ablaze at once, 4 or 5 waiting. All day long, oh happy day, look, there's a little one, can't be more than 5. Look at the scantily clad chandels heave bodies and logs, see them carry baskets of ash on their steady heads. See their bare feet cracked with dried blood, see their well-defined leg muscles, where it all goes into the sacred Ganges. The devout bathe and puja, sing the day-glow orange dawn, drinking mouthfuls of the waters with their Brahmin cords, beautiful brass bowls and soap next to where the sewer pipe washes up, visible dead rats and everything else evacuated by night into the sacred Ganges. It all goes. Buffalo carcasses float, sink, and wash up, boatloads of human ash. Dobiwalas beat clothes clean on special flat rocks, ankle deep in Ganges. Giant, unheard of river porpoises arch out of the water like Loch Ness monsters. Lines of cripples, self-amputees, hapless scheduled families. Dozens of lepers are shouting, look at me, holding up their stumps. Unhappy women hold their listless babes in the air as we walk by as if they were Eucharists. Everyone here already knows me. Hello, they want to shake my hand. Change money? Need guide? Take rickshaw? Take boat? Sir, I am boatman. Come to where you don't want to go? No, I take you. 10 rupees, okay? 8. You want something? What do you want? Yes, peace. Come to my guru one time. He give forgive me, I'm going to mispronounce this. Ayurvedic medicine, just 10 minutes. You pay what you want. Perhaps then we look at my uncle's silk factory? And he goes on with more and more about the hubbub of Kashi and the packed streets and the colors. But that was a pretty tough description of the Ganges, wasn't it? And one final one. This one is a very short one, and this happens in the United States. This one's called Oil Change in Cicero. Cicero's in Illinois, for those of you who need to know. Oil Change in Cicero. And this was Cicero, Illinois in 1968. I knew it was a sign the world our culture was changing fast as jet propulsion and proverbial New York minutes. Getting the oil changed on the way out of Chicago, the station manager's a pork-bellied trash wrap and cracker. His teenage employees got the Rolling Stones on the radio. And here's, I assume this is the manager. Get rid of that Jungle Bunny music or turn it off. The kid's astonished. But that's the Rolling Stones. I don't give a slimy, slick shit. Let them come to Cicero, them burrheads will get theirs. We know how to deal with them around here. Change it. The kid changes the station to Porter Wagoner like he's done it 1,000 times. The look he gives me says something. And that was from Andy Clausen. I'm glad that he's with Pamela now. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Andrew. I, too, have been thinking about Andy a lot. I wanted to dedicate this reading to him, but since we had a feature tonight, I thought it would wait until next time when we could properly dedicate a full reading. And I really think we should, maybe do a memorial reading here for him at some point, because Andy and Pamela were both extremely powerful poets and huge inspirations to me. As Andrew said, I started coming to Greenkill when I was like 18 and performing here, and I met Andy and Pamela, and they were always so encouraging to me as a young writer going through a lot of turmoil in my life. And I cannot thank them enough, and I don't even think they realized the influence they had on me in being the poet that I am today. And I'm eternally indebted to them for that. And I wish I could dedicate every reading to them, because they are very, very powerful people. And I want their presence to just live on in Greenkill, because the space was super important to them as well. And I know that they were sad they couldn't have come here more towards the end of their lives because of illness. But yeah, I just wanted to get up here and say that, because I have been meditating on it a lot. And one of the poems I'm going to read later is about it. But yeah, that's enough of that. Thank you, Andrew, for reading those poems. Next up is Bruce Weber.
I didn't learn till tonight about Andy's passing. I mean, what a wallop, double wallop this year with Pamela and Andy. And I don't know, some of you knew before, years ago, Jenny Poma Vega was Andy's girlfriend for a long time, and she passed away, and that was very sad too. Calendar poem. Yes, it's a date. Write it down somewhere so it's visible in the dark, observable in a catastrophe, viable in a flood. Yes, write it down firmly so it can survive blustery weather, so it can meander the dark roads of the imagination, so it can pummel through the big muddy, so it can traverse boulder-strewn highways. Feed it extra vitamins, pray for it at Sunday Mass, raise the collar of its turpitude on the direst of occasions, on the most behemoth of afternoons, on the tightrope of the day, teetering within the panorama of silence, like a painting by Edward Hopper, sweeping contagiousness under the rug like a strange interloper, I'll meet you there on the date circled twice on the calendar, written in indelible ink on my extended palm, repeated to me by shadows in a repetitive nightmare. We'll sit and talk over the implications, rubbing elbows with the blues, the protestations of bees out in the clearing, the assumptions climbing the walls in quest of the secret password, like a dove sailing quiet seas, like an answer to a never before answered riddle. I hit 4 home runs today. All cleared the fences by a country mile. One hit the McCarthy's barn flat on the fly. Another wiggled its way into Mrs. Lomax's flower bed. A third rammed Lucy the cow in the side. The fourth was an inside the park 4-bagger that looped past our neighbors' kids doing their chores out in the yard. It's not the first time I bagged 4. When I turned 11, I scorched home runs to all fields and watched as the balls leapt over buildings and nearly killed Jeremiah, the neighborhood cat, who used up most of his 9 lives. Someday, I'm going to suit up for the majors and drive a pretty new Cadillac all the way from here to Wrigley Field in Chicago and turn the heads of fans around 360 degrees just to watch the ball soar all the way to the gates of heaven, faster than the bat of a hungry boy ready to take on the universe with a smile as wide as a river crossing and a swing mighty as the Lord, creating the world in a big sweat of 7 measly days. The car down the road. Thrush went the car down the road. It was not an ordinary car. It was built in 1979 for an eccentric millionaire. He lived at the end of Woodstock Avenue. His property was full of unusual things: a robot who could fly, a kitten who recited the Bhagavad Gita by heart, a strong electromagnet that gathered lawnmowers, a trap door that blew crazily in the wind. There were many other things: a loop of Jack Benny begging poverty, a perfectly restored version of Citizen Kane, a map to the treasure buried under Blue Mountain. I knew that car well. I tinkered with the engine. I changed its oil. I inspected under its hood. The millionaire remained a mystery. I knew something was off kilter. I knew the marbles were tilting toward the floor. I knew that car was fueled by chance. I knew that car was imagined by the CIA. I knew that car was part of a palatial cover-up. I knew that car was a mystery tied to the creation of the universe. The letter I received was colored blue. The letter warned me about radioactivity. The letter threatened to quiet me with nerve gas. I sold my house. I hid in Bengal. I became a Bengalese musician. I toured all over the world. Sometimes, in the midst of a dream, the car returns down the road, and I wake up in a pool of sweat. I'll finish with this. Travels south. Travels south. This coffee tastes delicious. It's a return to flavorful mornings full of robust offerings and the kindness of well-regarded beans from the fields of Columbia. I'll drink now to the deep panorama of Oklahoma, the stillborn heat of Alabama, the crackling crawfish of Louisiana, the dancing vowels of Mississippi, the big as God attitude of Texas. I'll buy a drink for Bob Dylan in Tulsa, sing a sobering country song in Nashville, cross myself twice at the Natural Bridge in Virginia, tip my cap to Alice in Arkansas, wink at my old pals on the mall in the District of Columbia, offer a salute to the best Java this side of Charlottesville, say, oh gosh, before the treasures of Asheville, North Carolina. I'll buy a warm sugar-powered donut on the Gulf of Mexico, demand penance from tornadoes on the ravished, rickety streets of downtown Selma, take a seat next to Rosa in Montgomery, whisper in the writing ear of Eudora Welty in her dapple-lit bedroom studio outside Jackson, Mississippi, watch the parade of color-soaked kites whiz through the windy beach on Treasure Island, Florida, say grace in the Lord's house in the wake of the death of a loved one in Sarasota, get healed by a mountain of hands at the Baptist church down the road, head out to the mournful cemetery on the edges of light, bowing to the end of day just on the outskirts of town, the sundowns of midwinter, crossing time zones, looking into the infinity of roads, the dazzle of passing flanks of impossible clouds, of cowering trees and dovening branches, on our astonishing automobile ride across the hearth and girth of the good, bad, and beautiful bounty of the American South. Thank you.
Please help me welcome a personal favorite, but I might be biased, Robyn.
Thank you, Summer. Would not want to be introduced by anyone else, except Melissa. I miss her so much. I brought a few little things up on stage with me today. Me and my friend are doing a little yard sale this weekend, and we made a flyer, and I brought a copy. I don't know, it's really cute, so I thought I'd show it off. It's this Sunday. God, I botch it every time. From 12 to 5 p.m. at 12 Duzine Road in New Paltz, so that's that. And I also made a book this weekend. I'm not even gonna try to explain it. I just literally made a little book, and it's actually a promotional book for a book I'm trying to get published this year. So it's called Laundromat Poems. I brought literally one copy for anyone who wants to buy it or take it, because I have very limited copies. And that's that. I'm gonna read some poems now. This is crazy because we had a open mic last week, and we usually do them every 2 weeks, so I have a bit more time to prepare. So all these poems I wrote in the past week. So excuse them if they're not great. This one is called There Are Birds in the Closet. There are birds in the closet, I said. Birds? He replied. Yeah, birds. Go look and see. There are birds in the closet. Birds. All my plants are dead or dying. I'm not good at this thing, keeping things alive. There are birds in the closet. Birds. They live in the space in between the closet and the wall, fluttering their feathers, driving my cat insane. They pitter and patter and cry to their mothers. Does this mean there's a nest? My plants are dying, but it's not entirely my fault. They were destined to die like we all are. Destined to live in between life and death, to become a hollow shell of matter that once was. Was what? Was life. There are birds in the closet. By the afternoon, they have disappeared. Thank you. This one is called Hope Relief. Each moment you tear away from my embrace is another moment lost to malediction, a synapse sputtering, headache building through mixed messages and a constant upheaval of trying. It's all in an effort to try. Not aware of cause and causation, I wish you could rip my head open and see what my world looks like. Not facetious, just reactionary. I read 100 pages and sitting there, dumb-like, waiting for a question of what. These are the words my mind digests, yet you never seek to understand them. What plane of existence does our melancholy live? Sorrow evokes words that exude sorrow, that exude contradiction and excuses. I grab your hand and hope you can read my eyes. It's all I have. I ask too much, I know this. I just hope our ache can dissolve into sand, pressed into glass to see what resolution looks back at us. I hope like the birds when they peck through clay in search of bug and worm. I hope like the trees as winter fades to spring. I hope that each pang of heartache will resolve into undying love. I hope. For I hope because discontent is as temporary as high tide, which pulls back each day, cyclically. Our emotions are cycles of membranes speaking exaction and pride. For this I am sorry, but cannot compromise. I only ask that each moment when words bubble like heartburn in our chests, we resist the urge to let it burn our throats. We drink some water, look into each other's eyes, and smile a smile of relief. Thank you. This next one is called Like Wind. Time flies like my hair in the wind, picking up the current, running wild, only to fall into stillness, to long hours waiting for the weekend. Silence. Outside is a tree with pink leaves, and I remind myself that 2024 colors are pink and brown. This is what I keep reminding myself when I'm stuck trying to find something to wear. Pink and brown, pink and brown, pink brown. Like monster mesh, my world is coated in a slimy sheen of pink and brown. It covers my irises, and I resist from seppuku of the blacks of my eyes, some Oedipal desire like red wine and chocolate in a dingy North Philly apartment, with the window cracked open and the sounds of homeless man across the street shouting at nothing. Red wine and nothing, red wine nothing. Like ovoid petals of lily and tulip, someone cares enough to bring life into the city. They ask me, how do you know so much about flowers? I don't say this, but I think of my father immediately. His gentle hands packing down soil beds for pansies and peonies and yellow roses. My father taught me to love the world. I cannot deny him this recognition. He sees the good in the natural world, the bad in the human one. In this way, me and my father have always been the same. I wish just once more that I could kiss those soil beds, kiss the purple petals of flowers gone to wind currents like stray hairs. Wish I could return just for a moment to those days of my discordant youth. Wish I could sit in my backyard and stare at the trees once more. Though they are tattooed in my memory, dark black outlines of leaves and shadow beyond it. Though the woods were small, they never... Though the woods were small, they were the only home I've ever known. All I ask is for one more moment with them, with my father nearby, sweat lining his forehead, some distant look in his eyes. I wish for one more moment, just one more. Thank you. I got distracted when I heard so much noise around me. So this next one is called Sunshine. And I actually wrote this right after I heard about Andy's passing. I wish I was as carefree as a kitten with big blue eyes and a brain the size of a peanut. What a wonderful existence. What could be better than that? Instead, I dream about death before it happens, and when it's thrown in my face, I'm expected to write professional emails to the Chamber of Commerce in the small village I work in, thanking them for sending me the event on tax write-offs for seniors. I am awarded with teary eyes and sedentary hours waiting to gather the courage to move amidst the pain of encountering change. When I woke this morning, I felt rattled within me that today was of some significance. I just didn't yet understand it. Is it better now that I do? I am in love, making the most of my time and trying to make the right connections to get ahead. That's what it's all about, right? Getting ahead? No, I don't know. My cat is biting my leg and I can't focus on a thing. He offers to buy me a bottle of wine for my nerves, but I don't want anything to mask my emotions. I want to feel as deeply as rainfall that floods the creek just outside my window. I am strong. I've been sober all week and am encountered with feelings that are as abrasive as his teeth digging into my skin. A tinge of pain still persists, but I am stronger than it. I move through and beyond it. Felt God touch me today as I drove home through downpour and sudden sunshine. That was it. Sunshine. Thank you. And I wasn't going to read this last one because, I don't know, I always add like filler stuff to my readings just in case I hate everything else. But I don't know, I'm just going to read it. I didn't write this. This is something I like to do sometimes where I take a song that I've been listening to recently and I just read the lyrics like it's a poem. This one is Escape from the Prison Planet by Clutch. I don't know if you guys know that song, but it's pretty freaking good. Okay. Then against my better judgment, I went walking out that door. I smiled at one person, then I nodded 2-3 more. One man asked me for $1. I asked him, what's it for? He said, I have seen them. I said, okay, it's yours. And as featured on the MTV, the local high school lets out and the town becomes anarchy. Parties are crashed, skid marks are measured. The story's in the paper, you may read it at your leisure. Get out, eject, escape from the prison planet. And to the tune of $1 billion, I supplied to the DOE some tasty little nuggets of alien technology. And as one might expect, I've been harassed for years. The men in black have been bending my ear. As a matter of fact, they were just here today, but I escaped them through a secret passageway. Once I lived there for 1,000 days. Get out, eject, escape from the prison planet. I have plans for the future, guess they're futuristic plans. Move out west and buy some desert lands, maybe up north, just past Alaska. You know nothing of this if they ask ya. Red Rover, Bob Lazar is coming over. So honey, clear the airstrip and light up that stove. By Jove, I think it started. Oh yeah, escape from the prison planet. That's it. Thank you. And I think our final reader is Summer. So welcome to the stage.
Hi. I don't think I've read this here before, but I've read it elsewhere. So there are people in the room who might already know this. I'm sorry. So I found out recently that I'm gonna get a couple pieces published. Thank you. Just at the at the Stone's Throw with my university, but it's like the first thing I'm gonna have published, so I'm a little excited about it. But when I first found out, I was kind of peeved. I'm not gonna lie, because I sent them what I felt was ostensibly better poetry and better prose. Yeah, I haven't heard anything good about them, to be honest, but I figured I'd give it a shot. But, I'm a Jordanian American with Palestinian heritage. So the last 6 months have been really hard for me. And a lot of my poetry and prose that I submitted dealt with that and were ostensibly more radical. So the pieces that they selected make me feel like I'm a token Arab in their publication now. But I'm going to read you one of them because I do actually like it. I just wish they had picked some. I wish they would take a stand with me in my poetry. But here's what I'm calling Salt of the Earth. And you can read it soon. It's in the Stones for Review. My hands crack in the winter. Thin tissue paper with purple creases. Tear it and red gel oozes forth. They don't bleed like regular cuts. They ooze. I wrap them in Band-Aids or tape paper towels around my fingers. Mostly, I just ignore it. When I was little, my mom cooked us dinner every night. A meat, a starch, a vegetable. My mom cooked us dinner every night, and although I was a somewhat picky eater, a sin I've since outgrown, I would pick the food apart with a particular trepidation about getting food or grease on my hands. I was, and still am, always a bit of a freak about certain sensory experiences, although working as a line cook for more than half a decade served well to desensitize me to greasy, gross, wet hands. I can butcher a whole chicken in under a minute, divided into 8 parts in a minute flat. My mother's hands used to crack and bleed so badly in the winter that she had to buy farm-grade grease to slather on them at night. Sometimes she would soak them and sleep in gloves, only to rinse them the next day and find the old tears and rips all too ready to bleed. Today's a new day, they would say, with their oozing smiles etched in olive flesh. How can you be sure you're alive if you aren't bleeding? My mom cooked us dinner every night, and she always had a wound she was nonchalantly nursing. Burns from the oven, chunks missing from tips of fingers wrapped haphazardly in a blood-soaked paper towel held in place with pointer and thumb. Like Kronos eating his cosmic brood, my mother fed us bits and pieces of herself willingly, marinated cutting boards in her blood and flavoring roast pans with charred flesh. I sometimes wonder how much of her we ate over the years. There were some foods only my jadot made, and my mom and I had to learn how to do it ourselves after he got sick and died. We brined grape leaves in our tears and flavored rolled-up cabbage for malfouf with the salt of our blood. The sauce is conveniently already a deep red. You see, we had both learned to leak from the cracks in our hands by then. What do you think was the name of Jephthah's daughter? What do you think was the name of Lot's wife? What were the names of the people they left behind when they fled the burning city? If she had been my mother, I would have broken off her hand and taken it with me. On the banks of the Dead Sea, there are salt deposits thinner than paper that sparkle and crack in the sun. They bake onto the rocks until everything turns white, like fresh snowfall in the desert. The second to last time I was home, the last time I was truly home, the last time my jadot was alive there to meet me, I smuggled back a bottle of water from the Jordan River, truncated and controlled by the occupational forces living on the other side. You should see the wealth disparity between the occupied and indigenous banks. So much money they don't even need the water. It's just a tourist trap. And a bottle of water from the Dead Sea. The water from Christ's baptismal site has long since turned purple and green with the slime of life that it holds within the womb of the little mason jar. The jar of Dead Sea water is still perfectly clear, sterile, with little crystals of salt nestled at the bottom. Shake it and they jingle, glimmer in the sunshine like a snow globe. If Lot's wife had been my mother, I would have taken her hand and sprinkled it onto all the food I ate for the rest of my life. It has always been my mother's salt that cured my ails, not the tainted didacticisms of my father. I suppose in the process of turning to face my mother one last time, to look into my mother's face and hold her hand one last time, I would have been made salt too. Now we cook our meals together, cracked hands bleeding and flavoring the meat, dripping eyes salting our wounds. The real lesson of Sodom and Gomorrah is that anyone who lives long enough turns to salt. That's the lesson overlooked. Love, with tears and blood, will always salt the earth. Thank you. Unless we have any last minute, no, not looking at anyone, unless we have any last minute performers. All right, help me welcome one more performer. How's everyone's evening going? I'm not a good crowd worker. You can't do this to me. Help me welcome our next performer. This is my sister,
I was
Anissa.
like writing something because I too hate everything I write. Where do I go? Is this a microphone? Oh my gosh, this is a fancy micro. I literally didn't know this was the microphone. Okay, I cannot see with my glasses up here. The glare. I paid for the no glare. That didn't work. Okay, so I kind of delved deeply into my past for one of these poems, and I was like, wow, I wrote this in high school? That's crazy. It's actually not terrible. And it's called The Prime Meridian. It's very gay, because I was in high school, though. It's good, but it's like so like, oh my God, I believe in love, and now I'm like, love is dead, and the world is dying. Not to be super positive. My eyes get as tangled in your hair as my fingertips, and while I don't mind being stuck to you, tied by golden locks to your eyes, your lips, I forget that I am gasping down your words. The flick of your tongue waves, blue eyes turn ocean staring, making sure it's not too obvious that you are the only thing I see. Everything out of focus, blurred, soft like that spot between the mountains of your shoulder blades. Tectonic plates you arch, make earthquake legs shake. The fullness of your hips, the fullness of your lips, the swaying of your hips. In my hands, I never knew I would hold an entire ocean in my palms. We are the prime meridian, and my tongue, my lips, not nearly as full or breathtaking, converge with yours. I have to pull myself to shore. See, I start to lose myself miles deep, taken by the undertow, carried away in pulling your body against my own. I forget that you are not a metaphor. I forget that you are not pen and paper, but flesh and blood. I forget how to speak, forget tongue in cheek, because I can't split you into stanzas, can't dissect your every word, but I'll be damned if I won't try. I forget to remember how passion felt, deep crimson like the insulation in my veins. I forget to bring myself back. As I pull your white waters onto my shore, soak up your words and exhale the scent of sea foam into the hollow caverns of your collarbones. I forget to forget. The hills down your spine, valleys between your legs, I want to explore, but I'm not Columbus. I will only take what I am given, and I forget to ask for a map. Thank you. And this is one that I started actually writing because Summer I loved her poem about our mom's cooking. It's all of that in her hands, all of that, very accurate. Just, you take me back to our childhood so much with your writing, and it's amazing. A lesson in guilt. Guilt smells like my kitchen, like the scent of the lamb on my stove. It's Australian. It never tastes as good as back home. Guilt looks like my partner flipping the chops as he smiles at me. The roof will not entomb our dinner table. Guilt tastes like the Australian lamb that never tastes as good as back home. I'm going to finish it later, but that's the start of that. And then I think I have one more. This one's called Bubbles. I may have read it before, but I think it was a long time ago. Sitting in the bathtub, I feel drunk on your love. It's not enough. I'm barely buzzed. I feel like it's 4 a.m. My crown is digging its thorn in my forehead. I'll play dead, like counting sheep, but I don't sleep. I can't keep it stable, can't keep food on the table, can't keep my head up like I'm able, but really feel like Cain, jealous, wrathful, and insane. Splinters go against the grain. I pray for God to keep me tame, keep me humble. Darkness makes my stomach rumble. Guts begin to toil and trouble. Think I've got a split on the double. Think if I don't say a prayer, I might trip and fumble. Even Achilles tumbled. Don't count me out if I stumble. I pray and you grumble. I speak clear and you mumble. Stomach in knots, tongue in a jumble. You know I'm hot. God's given all I've got. I've earned all I've bought. I've won all I've fought. I won't be forgot. Life won't be for naught. Keep my morals taut. Keep my street clean. Keep my wrists iced like I'm in a magazine. I like that one because it's just like a little rappy type poem. It's fun. Thank you all so much for listening to me.
Incredible.
Thank you all for coming out. And I'm going to read you this quote again because I fumbled the bag in the beginning. Okay? This is George Saunders in Lincoln in the Bardo, which I highly recommend. And he says, "Friend, we are here, already here, within. A train approaches a wall at a fatal rate of speed. You hold a switch in your hand that accomplishes you know not what. Do you throw it? Disaster is otherwise assured. It costs you nothing. Why not try?" Thanks for trying with me tonight.
And thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you, Hashishan, for performing. I don't know where you are. You were right there. Sorry, totally. You were sitting there before. I'm sorry. Incredible. Everyone really slapped tonight. Give
really
yourself
slap.
a round of snaps and applause and everything. Yeah, everyone killed it. Thank you all for coming out as usual, despite everything going on personally and in the world. It's great that we can have these spaces to, hold a bit of peace. And, I think this is what keeps me going. I know Summer probably feels the same. I wish I knew when our next one was. I should be on top of this more. It's definitely
Wait, I
in
have it in the
May.
calendar.
It's definitely in May. May 5th, May 8th, May 3rd and a half.
6th.
May 6th. I was
May
getting
6th.
there.
On Monday.
May 6th. Monday,
Yeah.
May 6th. I
And
was getting there.
our other one in May is Wednesday, May 29th.
Yeah,
so
we're
if you're
gonna
planning
start-
your calendar,
Yes.
you can pop those dates in and come out.
Exactly. And please do come. Please come and read, and don't read, and just sit and enjoy, and support your local artists and performers. We have some big things coming here this year. I feel it. I don't feel it. I know it because I'm making it happen. And me and Summer are gonna do some cool shit together with you guys, because that's what we love. We love you all. And yeah, we're just gonna leave you with those little pieces to ponder on. Anything else you want to say?
That's it. I'm just happy to be here.
Yes, me
Thanks,
too.
everybody.
All right, White Noise signing off.
Bye.